When you walk away from something, you walk away for good. Don't you start turning back and looking at all of the good times, because I'm telling you, most of the time when people reminisce on something, they have a skewed vision of what it was really like to live back then. They are off. It was bad. It was worse than you thought it was. You ever talk to somebody and they be like, yo, remember when we used to be so dope? No, you wasn't. You was corny. High school wasn't fun for you. I remember. It wasn't fun for you. It was fun for me. It wasn't fun for you. You used to get thrown in the lockers every day. You used to hate waking up and going to school. Your mama made you wear the same pants every single day. You was getting bad grades and you got chased from home. You got chased home from that dog. But somehow over time, we make things a lot better than what they really are when we start to reminisce about it. It wasn't that fun. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun being poor. It wasn't fun growing up in the hood. It wasn't fun getting shot at. It wasn't fun dealing with these different, it wasn't fun. It was not cool. Walk away from that junk. You are in the best space that you ever have. And if you are part of this chat, if you're a part of my Patreon, link is in the description, also pinned to the top of the chat. Our best days is ahead of us. We not one of them people that's stuck in time like, man, remember when we used to be cool? No, I'm so busy looking at what's coming because 2021 has been the best year of my life. 2020 at the time was the best freaking year. When everybody else was suffering, me and Rita were thriving. Family contacted me over the weekend, or not even contact me, just kind of ran into them. And then I went and took care of some other stuff, and then we got into an extended amount of conversation, and they was like, Anton, I want to come over and see you. And I was just thinking to myself, like, why? Why do you want to come over my house? I'm very, very, very fierce when it comes to letting certain people into my space. When I say that I divest myself from certain elements and people, I'm talking about divesting myself against the people that you may know that I know that's cool, but they still may be connected to you, and I cut that off too. When I say I cut off people, and this ain't got nothing to do with like beef or nothing like that, but it more or less has a lot more to do with, are you in the space or are you moving in the direction that I'm going in? Like, I don't believe in anybody taking up my airspace that don't add value to my life. If you're not dope, if you're not part of the Patreon, if you're not going in the direction that I'm going in, I don't know. I'm very, very particular about the people. So it may be somebody that I don't necessarily rock with because I don't think that they got my best interest at heart. And then we may know somebody of interest that I'm cool with, but then I'm very careful about even letting that person that I'm cool with talk to me. And I'm like, yo, I don't know. So as usual, I lean to the people that are closest to me when I'm unsure to get some additional insight. And I'm like, yo, Rita, yo, this person, yo, that person, what do you think? They really want to come over because, I mean, what good could it do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what good could it do to let certain people in your space, in your house? Like, your home is supposed to be the place that you protect the most. So I'm always curious. I'm always focused. Shout out to my Steph is cold as the homie. I'm always trying to figure out what's the intention. Why you want to come and visit so bad? Are you just bored? Are you really interested? What is that? What's happening? You know what I'm saying? I'm paying attention. I'm watching. I got to be 15 steps ahead of whoever it is that's talking to me. So long story short, we let it rock. They came over. And they went into parts of this place that y'all ain't never seen before. And they're like, oh my God, look at the view. It's beautiful and all that other type of stuff, right? And then somebody sent me an email right after that. And they said, Anton, what do you think about going back to your roots? What are your thoughts? And I'd love for you to talk about this on your show. It came right on time. Of revisiting maybe the place that you grew up in. Maybe the people that came from the environment that you was in. Like, what do you think about keeping it real on that front? Maybe family that you may have no longer interact with, whatever, so on and so forth. And I have a very, very definitive answer for this young man. I have a very, very clear answer For those of you that are considering, when you get reached out to from certain people in your household or that you grew up with or past friends from the hood, or you thinking about buying up some places in the hood and fixing it up and giving back to the community, you thinking about doing all this stuff, right? Somebody that you used to kick it with, family member that you divested yourself from, and then you took off and then they still them and all this other type of stuff. Like, I have a very clear answer for you guys. You want to hear it? Here it is. One word answer. No. No. Don't you do it. Don't you go back from where you came from. Listen, the past is the past for a reason. Don't get curious about it. Don't you go back trying to show off your cars and all of this other type of stuff and try to show people, hey, I made it. Hey, I'm the man. Hey, look, you said I wasn't going to be nothing. I'm here now. They already know. They watching, they see you, they know what you're driving. They know that you live in life. They know that you living good. There's nothing good that's going to come from going backwards. The past is the past for a reason. Let it stay there. Don't be Lot's wife. Oh, that's a bar for y'all. Don't be Lot's wife. Don't be turning back and then turning into a pillar of sand. Don't be Lot's wife. It's good to know where you came from, but the direction that you're going in is much different. You are built for a different purpose. You in a whole nother space in your life. It's not meant for you to go back. It's not. Look for a good cause, champion it, maybe give some resources back. You know, I remember I was telling a story on my other channel. I remember I went back to the hood and I had bought up some places and we were trying to give back, pour back into the community and stuff like that. And no sooner than we put one thing valuable in there. You know what we put in there? Some new windows. We put some new windows in the place and we were putting up, we were trying to, build out and increase the value. People are always complaining about gentrification. We'll get into it. The next day, every single thing, I don't care if it was a pipe, I don't care if it was a window, I don't care if it was a saw. Everything was gone the next day. It was almost like they were sitting in the house across the street with some binoculars, waiting to see whether or not we actually did anything of value, of worth to that house. Pigs, they like to lay in slop. They're not interested in living in lush green pastures. They're not interested in being surrounded by all of the greatest foods and the greatest things and other majestic animals. They're not interested in growing. They're interested in living in slop. And then they eat each other. Let them get hungry enough, they'll eat their own kids. If you are fortunate enough to have come from an environment that the odds were stacked against you and you made it out, walk away. It's not your job to save everybody. You couldn't if you wanted to, right? I've been saying for a long time that one of my biggest struggles was getting out of my own way. One of my biggest struggles was getting out of my own way. Somebody would do something that I didn't think was dope. And so, in the past, I would dedicate my time, my resources, my energy towards eye for an eye. What did Jay say? You kill my dog, I'm going to kill your cat. Just the unspoken rules of rap. I was dedicated to that. But then I continued to read, right? And all of those scriptures that I would read, and I would read the Bible over and over again. And somehow, some way, I would continue to miss some of the biggest lessons that was in the word. And one of the biggest lessons in there is, if you doing it, what do you need me for? If you don't have trust in the thing that you're trending towards, if you in your own way, how can somebody truly help you? And so I had to remove myself from that mindset of always having to participate in what I thought was the best thing for me. Instead, I started spending more time cultivating, nurturing, and pouring into the people that actually had the most value to add. Right? How can I spend energy on two different things at two different times? One of them toxic, one of them good, and think that something good is going to come out of it. If you going to let God do his job, then let God do his job. It's not always for you to get involved. It may be something else that he got in mind for that person. And so you pray for him, you forgive him, and you let it go, and you keep moving and you live your life. But the one thing that you don't do is you don't entertain the people that's behind you. We moving forward. You can't run as fast as you want to run if you running backwards. You ever tried to run back? You ever tried to drive a car backwards? It's hard than the mug. If you going forward, you can go 150 miles an hour. You going backwards, it's limited. You can't go that fast when you're going backwards. You trying to drive like this. I don't drive like that. I'm tunnel vision. I'm focused. I don't even like looking in the rearview mirror, y'all. I'm going to be real with you. I don't even like looking in the rearview mirror. I check my blind spots. We got sensors and monitors now for that. And I keep it moving, man. I got a destination that I'm trying to hit, and I'm trying to hit it before the time frame that the GPS is telling me that I'm going to get there. I'm trying to beat the GPS. Y'all ever tried to beat the GPS? I know y'all do. Y'all be late to work all the time. I'm not sitting here going backwards. I'm not looking at what's behind me. I'm going forward. I'm too busy trying to catch the person that's ahead of me. That's my milestone. That's my carrot. And when I catch them, I'm too busy trying to catch the person that's ahead of them. You know what it feels like? Let me just break this down for y'all. Do you know what it feels like? You know, I was looking at my my in and out, you know, my budget, my expenses versus sales for different things. And I was just thinking to myself, this is a crazy number. The amount of transactions that go in and out of my hands on a regular basis is insane. And I was just thinking to myself, can I even go back to a normal everyday life? Is it possible? Is it possible to go back into a normal everyday life, or has this been normalized for me? I'm always trying to evaluate what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. I don't want bad to be normalized for me. I don't want to ever subject myself to the things that I was subjecting myself. I was talking to Rita the other day, and I said, honey, how do you feel about the fact that we've divested ourselves against a lot of the people that we used to know? We literally took it out and we cut the cord and we drew a line in the sand and we said, we never going back there. And I said, honey, what are your thoughts? Do you think that we should reach out and help people? And she was like, man, I'm living the best life I've ever lived in my entire life. And I do not want to go back to that foolishness. Ain't nothing good that can come from it, Anton. We need to keep living our life. We need to keep moving forward. And we don't need to focus on what other people is talking about. We need to continue to focus on what we talking about. And I said, you absolutely right. Ain't nothing good that can come from it. So what am I telling you guys? I'm telling you to stay out of the weeds. Stay out of the hood. Stay out of people's business. Don't be gossiping. Don't participate in that conversation. If you see people doing it, walk away from it. And the people that you walked away from before, unless they somehow trotted up and was going and you see them running at the same pace that you're going with, you need to be in a different room. Every single basketball player that's ever took the hood with them is broke today. The only person that you can even remotely speak of as far as their friends trotting and coming along at the same pace that they was coming along, maybe is LeBron James. But outside of that, the Antoine Walkers, all of these different people, they not good for you. Trust me. When you walk away from something, you walk away for good. Don't you start turning back and looking at all of the good times, because I'm telling you, most of the time when people reminisce on something, they have a skewed vision of what it was really like to live back then. They are off. It was bad. It was worse than you thought it was. You ever talk to somebody and they be like, yo, remember when we used to be so dope? No, you wasn't. You was corny. High school wasn't fun for you. I remember. It wasn't fun for you. It was fun for me. It wasn't fun for you. You used to get thrown in the lockers every day. You used to hate waking up and going to school. Your mama made you wear the same pants every single day. You was getting bad grades and you got chased from home. You got chased home from that dog. But somehow over time, we make things a lot better than what they really are when we start to reminisce about it. It wasn't that fun. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun being poor. It wasn't fun growing up in the hood. It wasn't fun getting shot at. It wasn't fun dealing with these different, it wasn't fun. It was not cool. Walk away from that junk. You are in the best space that you ever have. And if you are part of this chat, if you're a part of my Patreon, link is in the description, also pinned to the top of the chat. Our best days is ahead of us. We not one of them people that's stuck in time like, man, remember when we used to be cool? No, I'm so busy looking at what's coming because 2021 has been the best year of my life. 2020 at the time was the best freaking year. When everybody else was suffering, me and Rita were thriving. We lived an awesome lifestyle. We traveled to more places than we had ever been. We had more experiences. We made more money than we ever made in our entire life. 2020 was awesome. 2021 has been phenomenal. It's been the best year ever. We go up. We don't go back.